Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this episode, I'll be taking my newly repaired and painted Porsche Boxster Spyder to Winshield, Malaysia to get Xpel paint protection film installed. Now in the last episode, I addressed the stone chips and dents, which is important because if you don't, PPF will bring out more of those imperfections. Now if you want to check out that whole process, the link is in the description below or the pop-up banner on the right hand corner. Now back to this episode, we'll be walking through the whole preparation process, the during process behind the scenes on how to install Xpel paint protection film. And I also decided to install Xpel Prime, which is the premium quality window tints on my car from Xpel. Now if you're watching this, you're probably also curious about the cost and maybe also considering PPF for your car as well. So in the end of the episode, I'll be sharing with you how much it actually costs and how Xpel's PPF has saved me thousands of ringgits on repair, and also to debunk some myths about PPF. And hopefully the open and transparent information plus the whole process helps you appreciate and then decide whether you want or don't want to use protection for your car. Now if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to hit the like button, and if you want more future content like this, car reviews or lifestyle content for car enthusiasts, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to my channel as well. Now be sure to turn on the bell notification as well so you get an alert when new content is out, so that way you won't miss any of the latest content. Now with that, please enjoy this episode. Now some of you are probably wondering, how long did I actually wait after the respraying process to install the PPF? Well, just 5 days. Now I know what you're thinking, this is not okay because the paint has gas and it's too quick, it's too soon. But my painter from UltraTune, Mr. Chun, is aware that we're going to install PPF. So in that case, he placed my car under the oven a little bit longer so he can release more of the gas, and he also left it under the hot tropical Malaysian sun to dry up and again to release all the gas as much as possible. And then after that, we sent the car to Winshield, Malaysia, and rather than going straight for the PPF, we proceeded to install the window tints first while waiting for the paint to dry up a couple more days. So tinting is a rather important process to protect your car, and often an overlooked one. See, in Malaysia, and as long as there's sun, there's lots of UV rays, and UV rays can wreak havoc and damage your leather and plastic bits of your car. This is when you see discoloration and shrinking and all that things that you don't want to see, and it costs so much more to restore that. So it's important to invest in a good quality of window tints. Now there's so many brands in the market and various grades of tints, and this can be confusing when it comes to choosing window tints for your car. So this is my opinion and my guide on what's important when you choose a tint. Now number one is to always visit the shop. And the reason why is because you have all those figures you can see online, and you compare all those figures like UV rejection, infrared cancelling, VLT, all those numbers are great, but it's another thing to experience it, to see whether it's okay for you, and you can only experience it in the shop, and I frankly feel there is not much you can do by just comparing it online. Now number two is to do some research on long-term user experience. Now like everything that we buy or use, it degrades, and tints are the case as well. It's being exposed to elements and sunlight, and eventually it will lose some of its qualities. So the real quality of a tint is when we measure the 1 year, 2 years, 3 years usage of the tint. So to see whether it still maintains its quality or does it fade off over a couple of years of usage. Now after doing some research, I found out a lot of great feedback from Xpel's Prime XR. So I decided to go for it despite it costs the most, which comes to point number 3, warranty. Some companies give consumer a peace of mind by offering warranty and ensuring the tints preserve a reasonable amount of performance even after some time. Now when it comes to warranty, it is important to see who is giving out the warranty. Can you claim the warranty? Do they actually honor it, or can they honor it? In this case, Xpel has been around for 24 years and is a public listed company. So they also give great support to the installers. On that basis, I think the warranty actually warrants a thumbs up. Get it? Anyways, I picked Xpel's Prime XR Plus, which are the improved and quote-unquote facelifted version of the Prime XR. Now the reason I picked the Prime XR is because they offer a lifetime warranty on these grades of films. Now that's quite a confident move, and I thought that if they are so confident, I'll spend the extra and install it on my Spyder, because I want to keep the Spyder for the rest of my life as long as I can, and I have no intention of selling her. Now the next grade they offer are the Xpel Prime XM, which offers 7 years warranty, and I think the third one, which is the most economical grade offered at Winshield Malaysia, and I think it's also the most coolest one, is the Prime HP. Now I like this is because only for a retail price starting from 1,500 ringgit, you get 5 years warranty, you get great film without breaking your bank account. Now as time passes by, I found myself loving the Xpel films even more. Now it's because the way it looks. See, a lot of tints have different tint of colors, like it could be blue, it could be gold, and I think it ruins a lot of the car's aesthetics. Whereas the Xpel films, they have a slight charcoal black color, and it shows up very well in photos and videos. In fact, if you look at them, it feels like it's factory. It feels like as though the tint wasn't there at all, which is what makes me really happy as an Xpel user. After that, we left the car over the weekend to let the paint cure and release more of its gas. Now next up, we polished the car before we applied the PPF. Now the person who is in charge of this process is Sky from Autolab. Now he used to polish Porsches in Singapore and was one of the only artisans who were allowed to polish and perform paint correction on the likes of Rolls Royces. Now needless to say, he is extremely skilled and experienced in the polishing and detailing process. Now for example, he was able to catch this very minor defect from the paint process earlier, which I have no hope of finding. There is this speck of dust trapped underneath the clear coat, which Sky managed to spot. So now, in order to remove this, he started by wet sanding using his hands. And the reason why he used his hand versus the rotary machine is to minimize the abrasive action on unnecessary areas, and also to avoid producing too much heat that will come from using the rotary machine, which can warp the paint on my Spyder, which is still quite fragile right now. Now, such skill and experience is really hard to come by, and it takes tens and thousands of hours of experience to achieve this level of mastery. And I wanted to take this moment to shine some light on people like this so we can give more appreciation and respect when it's due. Now, to find out more about Sky and his team at Autolab, check out their Facebook page in the link in the description below and drop them a message to send your car over there for an inspection and any detailing services. Now, back to the polishing process. Now, while the paint job was fantastic and top grade, it's often that you still find some orange peel on your paint. Now, this is due to the shrinking of the paint as the gas is being released from the clear coat. And I must stress this is absolutely normal, and of course there is a variability of acceptance. So in this case, it's actually not bad. We just want to slightly reduce it so it looks better when we PPF the car, but not removing it all away, so that I still have some protection and still got some clear coat in case I get scratches in the future. So Sky and his team approached this with a 4-step process. Step 1 is a gentle clay bar to remove any surface contaminants that might damage the car during the polishing process. Step 2, they use a rotary machine paired with a woolen pad. Now this is to increase the abrasiveness, and paired with the compound that is being used, is to cut away the uneven surface that gives that orange peel effect. Now once the orange peel is reduced with this process, it will leave behind some mini swirl marks because of the woolen pad and the abrasive from the compound. So step 3 is now to use a yellow pad on a Rupes polishing machine to reduce the swirl marks. And step 4, to make it nice and shiny, we finish off with a red pad and also polishing liquid with less abrasiveness for a nice shiny finish. Now check out the orange peel effect on the left side and the right. Now the left one hasn't been treated and the right side has been significantly reduced, and especially more obvious with naked eyes. Now this is not completely gone, but again we want to leave some of the clear coat on in case we have to correct in the future if there's any damage. But I'm happy and satisfied with this level of orange peel reduction. Now I love how detailed they are, especially with working around the edges, which I've learned this time from Sky that it is the weakest point of the paint. Now this is where most amateurs will make the mistake of polishing across the edges and risk cutting loads of clear coat to expose the paint and possibly even cracking. So you can see they go really slow and steady and really careful around the edges. Next up, the headlights repair. Now, From all the spirited driving and trying to keep up with my friends to hear those beautiful exhaust notes like the Ferrari California from Alex Wong and the beautiful Aston Martin Repeat S from Bobby Ang, I had to pay a price. Now, not only the stone chips on the body but also on the headlamps. Now, this process was the longest for the Autolab team despite being the smallest area for correction, as the stone chips were pretty deep. Now, first it started by sanding down the stone chips by hand, which took a lot of time. It took the whole late afternoon and they only completed this process in the next day in the morning. Now, and then after they are done with the sanding, they, just like the body, they use the rotary machine with wool and then they finish off with polishing with the yellow pad. The result? Absolutely flawless. I'm dumbfounded by the ability to execute and the level of quality and attention to detail by the Autolab team. So again, I want to really say thanks to Sky and his team member from Autolab. I would definitely recommend their workmanship and expert advice. So check out the link in the description below if you want to find out more about what they offer in Autolab. And finally, we are ready for the PPF installation. Now, Winshield Malaysia is an Xpel certified installer and the exclusive installer in Malaysia. Now, they use Xpel's in-house developed software called DAP, short for Design Access Program, to pre-cut the PPF before installing on the car. Now, DAP is also the world's largest and most comprehensive software for PPF. And what's interesting is that Xpel used to be one of the earlier pioneers in developing the software for pre-cut PPF, now which they have also sold and supplied the software to other PPF manufacturers. So how it works is that you key in the car model and the brand and the year, and it gives you the pre-cut blueprint that is ready to be cut by the machine. But Kevin, the technician, doesn't go straight into the machine cutting process. Rather, he inspects the pieces on the computer to ensure that it's all in order before proceeding. And during the cutting process, he supervises the machine and the process with scrutiny to ensure that the cut is perfect. And once done, he cut out the individual installation pieces, pack them up, and send them to the installers to be installed. Now, some of you have probably heard that it's better to have manual installation versus machine pre-cut PPF because it won't produce a finish as beautiful as the manual one. Now, that may be right. Of course, there are many variables like depending on the skill set and also the quality of the installer. But machine cut saves up to 25% to 50% of the installation time because manual fitment requires the installer to disassemble the parts, wrap it in PPF, and then reassemble it, which not only requires more time, but it also increases the risk to break the hooks and attachments as well. Now, in the case of the pre-cut PPF from the DAP software, the measurement is done as such where there's a little bit extra that goes around the edges of each panel. So when the wrap goes around the panel, it hides the edge of the PPF. Now, I'm pretty happy with this process because this saves the manpower, which then reflects on the bill that I pay, which is way lower. Now, the second thing is that this still protects my car without compromising its detailed looks. Now, I've got to admit that there are some areas that you can see the edges, but you really got to scrutinize to see the lines. Okay, look, this is so awesome. This part and this part, PPF, no PPF. But look, hardly any difference. I'm well impressed with Xpel. Right, no PPF, PPF. Very, you really have to scrutinize to see the difference. Wow. Okay. Now, of course, there is an exception when your car is modified and you have different dimensions from the factory settings, then they have to use manual installation, which in return will take more time and also cost a little bit more. Now, to start the PPF process, the installers clean the surface. Now, this is to remove any oils on the surface which might reduce the effectiveness of the adhesive on the film. Now, notice something really unique. They're using their bare hands to cover every surface to feel if there's any debris or dirt that was not removed previously. Now, because if you have those dirt and debris, it will show up in the final finish and also interfere with the adhesive as well. Now, once satisfied, they will now squeegee the liquid off and now it's ready for the film. Now, Xpel requires the installers to use their in-house chemical to ensure the best quality installation with their films. Now, they have also little innovations like this pen over here, which is to increase the adhesive strength where it matters the most, around the edges which are susceptible to peeling off. Now, once that's done, they proceed to spray the gel on the surface and also the PPF. Now, this gel is to prevent the film to stick on the surface. And this may sound counterintuitive, but it's done for good reason. Now, this gel creates a space between the film and the car, so the installers can adjust the PPF without having it stuck to the car. Now, once only satisfied with the alignment, they will lubricate the surface and squeegee the gel out from beneath the PPF so it can finally stick to the surface of the car. For some strange reason, the process looks kind of satisfying and soothing for me. So, out of curiosity, I did ask the technician to allow me to squeegee some of it, and it felt great. I asked the Sifu see whether I can do. So he said I'll do like this. Okay. So try a bit. Oh, very soft only 没有大力按哦，用推就可以了啊。但是我做到不美，你看。So while the master does his work, I'm going to walk you through what the areas that I'm protecting. Now, the areas that I chose to install Xpel's PPF was my front bumper, hood, both side fenders, rocker panels, stone guards right behind both my rear tires, the side mirror caps, and also the door handles. Now, the PPF process took roughly around 1.5 days because they want to take their time to ensure the fitment goes in perfectly, but also to observe to see if any bubbles, any defects will come out after the installation process. After the PPF have been installed, the team from Autolab are back for the final step. Now they're here to apply Xpel's Fusion Ceramic Coating, which is specifically designed to be applied on top of Xpel's paint protection film. Now, not only it enhances the look, but it also has self-healing properties for minor scratches too, just like the PPF. So it technically enhances the protection for the car while making it look great. Now, I highly recommend that you place coating on the PPF too, because you see, PPF is plastic. And plastic, they are susceptible to trapping and holding onto dirt. And under hot sun, I've seen many PPF baking in iron or dirt or debris and totally destroying the beautiful looks of any car that it's supposed to be protecting. Now, with the ceramic coating, it helps keep the dirt away and is easy to clean and maintain, and offering a layer of protection and yet giving a nice, beautiful wet finish. So I highly recommend that you do this step. So after 2 weeks of not driving my car, I was very excited to see how it looks like in the wild. So at the end of it all, how much did it actually cost? And the more important question is, am I happy and satisfied with Xpel's PPF? Now let's talk about how much it costs first. Now to get all those parts that I mentioned earlier in the video protected is approximately around 7,000 ringgit. Now that's not inclusive yet of the Xpel's Fusion Ceramic Coating, not inclusive of the window tint and also the polishing services from Autolab. And then the question might come is that, Thomas, how do you justify spending this much money on the car? And how do I justify it? Probably you're asking this yourself. Now before I jump into that, please be sure to check out Winshield Malaysia's Facebook page for any promotion, because you might get a better deal than I did, because there's always promotion from months to months and stuff like that. So do send them a message and ask them if there's any ongoing promotion. Now, back to the question, how do I justify spending the money on a car? Because you can do so many other things with that amount of money. Now, to help you make a decision, I've come up with 4 categories of car owners, and hopefully if you know which category you are, it helps you see whether you should or shouldn't protect your car. Now the first category of people are people who don't need the protection on their car. Just like if you own a car like this, my classic Mini. Now it's very unlikely that I'm going to go really fast in this car to collect stone chips. So the investment may be least effective on a car like this. So if you're in the city, you're not driving fast, then you don't need PPF. Then you can spend the money elsewhere. Now the second kind of people are people perhaps that they just want to drive. They don't need to protect their car, they don't want to protect their car, and they don't mind at all. And this is not a bad thing, because some people, they have more important priorities to spend their money elsewhere. If that's the case, maybe PPF is not for you, but do understand that if you're going to take your car on a spirited drive or take it on the track, you will collect stone chips. It's inevitable, right? You're traveling that fast, there's so many variables on the road. So if you're okay with that, then that's fine, right? Now, then there are the third category of owners. owners will say that, hey, if you're going to take so much money, cost so much money to protect your car, why don't I just respray my car every, say, 2 years or 3 years? The cost of respraying and repairing sometimes equivalent to the PPF process. But understand that in between the respraying process, you're going to be driving a car around with lots of blemishes and also stone chips and stuff like that. Now, if you're okay with that, and that's fine, unless you are the fourth category like myself. You want to make sure that your car looks the best all the time, every single time, and every time. Then you put on PPF. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't mean that when you put on PPF, it will not have stone chips. Now, the rationale is like this. If you're going to take your car on spirited drives, you will inevitably collect damages. There are so many variables out on the road. So this protects 90% or 99% of the possible damage that may come to your car. Now, let's just say there's a huge stone chip that is flying out from your friend's high-powered, high-torque car at 120 kilometers an hour, and it hits your car. Even with PPF, you're going to get some damage, right? Let's be real about it. Okay, it's not titanium or vibranium or stuff like that, right? But here's what it's going to do. It's going to protect you from 90 or 95%, 99% of damages, so that it looks as pristine, as clean as possible. And even for those larger damage, it reduces the damage, so it's not that obvious. Okay. And case in point, right over here, I had a damage that's happened last week when I was driving, and you can see it's pristine. But check out this video, how it actually looked like. I think some stones hit this car. So I got this place PPF, and that's the reason why you need to do PPF. So when it hit it, it scuffed the rocker panel. This is the one I installed. So you can see I just finished cleaning it. Just a bit of soap, shampoo, just a little bit of scrub. Right, not really scrub, just like agitating the dirt a little bit. 2-3 passes, and that's it, it's gone. And that's the reason why you PPF. It could have been much worse. It could have gone into the paint. It could have scratched, and that would be really, really nasty. So it's nothing at all. Look, it's as good as new. Now that damage could have cost me upward of 1,500 ringgit to 2,000 ringgit. I might have to change this whole panel if this plastic piece cracked, but I didn't have to because of the PPF. Right? So that's one of the reasons why I like it. It gives you a peace of mind when you're doing spirited drives. Right? Now, in that case, let me talk about some other important parts about applying a PPF as well, and why I chose Xpel. Now, the first thing is the after sales and the warranty. Here's the most important thing: do they honor if there's something wrong with it? You know. So far with Winshield Malaysia and Xpel, even I have a little bit of, let's say, it didn't fold in and attach well. They didn't ask any question. They take it back, they repair that. No questions asked. And this is not the case for me only. There was another Xpel user for almost a year. It had a Subaru S207 with factory paint, beautiful yellow color, and he had his PPF peeling off in the front, and no questions asked, they replaced everything. And that's why you pay for a good quality of service. You're not just paying for the plastic, you're paying for the service as well, which is why I think it's important that you find a great installer. And in my case, I highly recommend Winshield Malaysia and Xpel. Link in the description below. Alright. Now, the other few things that I like about Xpel is also the other properties. Number one, they do have self-healing properties like we saw earlier, but you know, most manufacturers do have it. However, Xpel is the pioneer in this technology. So for that, I think it deserves some credit for that. Number two, they developed the film and the chemicals in such a way that it doesn't cause discoloration, which is one of the biggest concerns for putting on PPF on your car. So for those two, it really got me thinking about getting Xpel, right? And of course, the service is a bonus. It's an extra bonus over there. Now, there's something I'd like to demystify and clarify as well, because this point has caused me a little bit of confusion and almost deterred me from putting on PPF. See, some people are thinking about using vinyl wraps as a way to protect your car and also change the color of your car. However, vinyl wraps do not provide the function of protection like PPF. The thickness is roughly around 1 to 1.5 mils versus PPF in my car, we're using 8 mils, so that's a lot thicker. And number two, the material for PPF is designed in such a way to absorb shocks and to spread the impact around its surface, right? Versus the vinyl doesn't have that function. So based on those two facts, PPF is still king when it comes to protecting your car. Now let's talk about coating as well. Now, coating does offer protection for your car, but the protection usually it offers is more of a chemical and aesthetic protection, right? It's not so much to just protect you from impacts. See, ceramic coating is hard. Think of something that's hard, right? So it does not, when it receives impact, it will crack. So in that perspective, ceramic coating is not designed to withstand impact, unlike PPF, right? Will it offer some protection? Yes, it does. But when it comes to the ultimate protection, there's nothing better than PPF because that's what it's designed to do. Okay, so with that, I hope that helps you, demystify, helps you find clarity on whether I should or shouldn't apply PPF. Oh, I do want to take this opportunity to thank a few people. Adi from Winshield, Malaysia. Darren, thank you so much for taking care of me, and also all the boys that's behind the scenes doing all the work. I also want to thank Sky from Autolab and his team member as well for making my car look awesome. Thank you so much. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think about PPF and this whole process. Okay, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. Please turn on the bell notification if you don't want to miss out any episodes in the future. Okay, with that, it's been quite an episode. Hope you enjoy it. With that, love you guys. Stay safe as always. Keep it 100%. Peace out.